Can you hear me?
Ah, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah,
Um,
but I cannot see you.
hold on.
Sure, sure. Great,
Okay,
great, great, great. How are you doing today?
good. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you so much. So,
Thank you.
yeah. So where are you located?
I live in Virginia on the East Coast.
Okay, that's great. That's good. I'm in New York, so yeah, same East Coast time. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
Great, great, great. So it was great connecting with you on the organ donation chat, and thank you so much for joining our podcast. And as you know, our podcast is about organ donation in general. We have an app called Life Immortal. It's
Hmm.
the first app for organ donation where recipients and the donors can sign up and they can match with whatever requirements they have. For example, whatever organ they're looking for, and they can match over there, and then they can safely and securely chat with the eligible person, and then maybe audio chat, audio call, and then video call, and then set up an appointment with their doctors in a very so you can see an approximate geographical location of the other person, but not the exact address.
Right,
Security purpose, yeah. And it's an open source platform in the sense that somebody had to take the initiative. I don't know why nobody has come up with this idea. I mean, we want to go to Mars, but there's so much we can do in this world and society, and help each other. So that was the as a organ donor, I always wanted to have this idea executed, and fortunately enough, after a lot of struggle and back and forth, it did finally go live. And for this, we are doing these series of podcasts in which we are inviting experts as well as donors and recipients, to tell their stories so that people are inspired by it. Because for me, you guys are the topmost heroes, because you are using your life to save other lives, and that's the most beautiful thing a human being can do, that
yeah.
raises us beyond above the level of angels. And yeah, so that's a little bit of an introduction, and let's hear it from you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Okay, I'm 53 years old.
Okay.
Married for let's see, married 30 years, have an 18-year-old daughter,
Okay.
and I'm 35 years post liver transplant.
Awesome.
So my transplant was March 10th, 1990 at University of Virginia in Charlottesville.
Okay, that's great. That's great.
I don't really know much about the donor except that she was a 12-year-old girl in a car accident.
Okay.
Um, I tried finding out more over the years, but
There are
I
laws. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we wrote him a letter. Excuse me, when I was young, afterwards, we never heard from them. So I don't know. I mean, they might not be alive anymore, for all I know.
Hmm.
So, but I have tried finding out more information, but I haven't been able to find anything out.
Okay.
As far as my why I needed a transplant, I was born with a liver disease called biliary atresia
Okay.
in 1972.
Hmm.
So in 1972, it's still a rare liver disease, but back then they managed they managed to care. I mean, in 1972, the liver transplants weren't even Stargell was doing them, but people weren't living that
Hmm.
many years afterwards.
Okay.
It wasn't until they found cyclosporin, and it was actually a fungus,
Okay.
and they tested it and they realized they could use it as a immunosuppressant agent for transplants. And it wasn't until that did the transplant patients start living longer.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so I do remember that. And the liquid form of cyclosporin was nasty. You had to drink it with orange juice,
Oh, that's great. That's
and it
great.
was changed the taste of orange juice, and it was just yuck.
Yeah. I have orange juice right here.
Well, orange juice by itself is good. It's just when you put the medicine in it,
Yes,
you could taste the medicine. It was just
I
not very good tasting.
got it, got it.
So fortunately, they came out with a pill form
Hmm.
when I started my senior year of high school in September 1990. So I didn't have to take the liquid form anymore.
Hmm. Good, good.
Um, Trying to think. What I mean, what do you want to know? What
Okay,
questions do you
so
have for me?
right. So, was it when you got this transplant? Was it the initial age, initial times when they started this? Was it a testing phase, or was it being done when you successfully done and it was prevailing and widespread when you got the transplant?
Now, by 1990, there were successful liver transplant patients, and as you know, it was Dr. Thomas Starzl that pioneered it. And I actually had a surgeon who studied under Starzl at the University of at CHOP, Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh.
Hmm.
He studied under him, and
Hmm.
in '89, UVA wanted to start a liver transplant program, so
Hmm.
they hired him. And it was funny. My first visit, I remember clear as day.
Hmm.
I was sitting there waiting for the doctor to come in, and his coat couldn't catch up with himself. He was just going so fast, and he looked at me like, okay, we're doing these tests, and these tests, and yeah, I've done all of them before, and then, yeah, but we need new tests.
Okay.
And he looked at me like, you want to do this? I said, yeah, absolutely. He's like, you've been sick all your life, you deserve a chance, so we're gonna do it no matter what. It's funny, I had a hospital um that told me no, they wouldn't put me on their list.
Okay.
And when I was 15, I had a false go, I guess you would call it. And that was at um, Medical College of Virginia in Richmond, Virginia.
Mhm.
And they were about to fit the sedation meds in me, and the doctor came out and said, no, 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 no. The liver's bad. We can't do it.
Mhm.
So I was 15 when that happened. And they actually shut the program down at MCV. I can't remember why, but they shut the program down. So my parents and my family doctor had to find other
Oh.
transplant centers. And I listed at UVA, and then I had other hospitals I was looking at too. But my appointment was February 14th, 1990, and then the transplant itself started March 10th, so less than a month.
Okay. Okay.
So it was quite amazing.
Yes, yes, it's like a miracle. It's
Yeah.
because that's the prime objective behind our app as well. To this sometimes this waiting time and this waiting list has lots of logistical issues and
Oh yeah.
scheduling issues, and then geographical issues in which sometimes the organs expire, sometimes it is rejected, sometimes the waiting list shuffles. So that's the idea behind it. I'd like to also tell you that I also, when I was small, I had a liver issue, and I had a weak liver, and I used to, when I wake up in the morning, I used to vomit a lot, and then I was told by my doctor that we need to have boiled water because I was born in Pakistan, and since then, all our life, and now I drink filtered water. But and I had to fight with severe jaundice because of that, and
Yeah.
was in very critical condition around you can say 82, 83, and then there was a lot of ambiguity in jaundice as well. It was considered a fatal disease back then sometimes. In fact, my father also died with jaundice, but liver complications. but he was, old as well. So tell me, the girl you said was 12 years old. So when you got the transplant, how old were you?
18.
Ah, okay, all right. So
Yeah.
did the liver grow with you, or how did it work out?
Well, they took my whole liver out, and I asked my surgeon afterwards, what did my old liver look like? And he's like, hard, green, and lumpy.
Oh, okay.
It had gotten to, he's like, you couldn't have waited much more time for, but it was, they used her whole liver. It's not like we're today where they can section a liver,
Yes, that's
and
what I was wondering.
did, yeah,
Yeah.
they didn't do that with me.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, because I found out later on that they were doing live donation, and several of my family members would have and could have donated part of the liver to me, but it was being done, but not as much as it is now.
Yes.
So I don't know why it wasn't an option. That they didn't even bring that up. I don't know why.
Mm,
Maybe UVA wasn't doing it back then,
mm.
but yeah, I got the whole liver of the young girl. So
Okay.
and everything, I mean, and then 2 years later, it's funny, 2 years afterwards, 92, I was in school down in Virginia Wesleyan. And at the time, if anyone's listening, this was a very rare side effect. I developed what's known as Burkitt's lymphoma,
Okay.
and I was in a hospital for 6 months. And that was a result of the medication, the immunosuppressive medications at the time.
Mhm.
And it, as I said, nobody told us about that. It was very, 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 very rare and scarce at the time.
Mhm.
So I managed to beat it,
Mhm.
and but it was hard. I mean, I had to go through. The only thing I did not have to do for the cancer was radiation or a bone marrow transplant. I
Mhm.
had chemotherapy, and that was it. But I was in the hospital for 6 months,
Oh, okay.
and now they keep a really close eye on patients, and because they know it's going to happen. Like I have I'm very Facebook friends with this his dad. He's about 5 or 6 now, and he got his transplant when he was about 10 months old, and is just getting over the the cancer that is caused by the immunosuppressant medications.
Oh,
But
wow.
they're yeah, and so but now they do it really. You don't have to, unless it's really severe. You don't have to be in the hospital now.
Mhm.
Now they lower your immunosuppressant medications, and they monitor you really closely. But mine got so bad, I just ended up in the hospital because nobody knew it was going to happen.
Right.
But now they really, like blood work at first when you get out, it's like blood work every day for like a month. And
Okay.
then it goes down to twice a week.
Uh-huh.
And then, so now they really, really watch, I don't know what it is. They watch the blood numbers to make sure that you're not going that way. And if you're going that way, then you're like, okay, well, decrease your meds.
Right.
And so I mean, other than that though, that was 92 and it's now 2025. So
Right. That's congratulations on that. And yeah, I totally agree with you. That's the most beautiful part of science, that it is also always work in progress.
yeah.
It's always improving, and the bar is constantly raising. But so whatever probably didn't work yesterday will definitely work tomorrow, because these experts are there. And so there was no rejection, it was only the suppressing medicine.
I thought maybe I'm thinking back, I think maybe there was mild rejection, but they reversed that. And the cancer was mainly caused because of the medication.
Right.
And how I got it was through the Epstein-Barr virus.
Okay.
I was at school, and it's called a kissing virus. Well, I didn't have a boyfriend at the time, and I know how I got it.
Right.
I took a drink from my
That's right. Yeah.
friend's glass, and she was sick at the time, and I just totally, oh, I'm thirsty. So I'm like,
And you
that's how
were
I
a kid,
got it.
yeah. And you were a kid, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not just kissing, it's,
Of
by
course.
using other people's, picking up people's drinks or something. So,
Yeah, yeah.
and as a transplant recipient, you have to be very, very vigilant. And sometimes you just like forget. I
Right,
swear. I mean, it's tough,
right. It is. It is. It is.
especially if you're a college student and you're just, having fun talking to your friends. But I figured out that's how I got mono. And then the mono mutated into Burkitt's lymphoma. And
Okay.
then I do remember, I'm saying mild rejection,
Mhm.
but that was reversed. I didn't go back on my immunosuppressant medication until I want to say that was in the hospital in March 1992, and then I was off of it until like September of 92.
Okay.
So, and they like every month, I got out of hospital in July of 92,
Mhm.
and I had to go up to UVA every month to have a biopsy.
Mhm.
Those are not fun,
Yeah.
but everything, everything worked out. I mean, I still have, they said, oh, you'll never be able to have kids. And my husband and I were married 12 years, and he's 18 years old now.
Oh, that's congratulations.
So,
That's congratulations. So, I mean, it's amazing that you remember all the dates.
yeah, and that really irritates my husband. I have really good memory. And I think I get that from my dad,
Okay.
is that I have a partial photographic memory, and I remember all the dates. And my husband's like, well, why do you have to remember all these dates? I'm like, I just do. I mean, it's not something I try to do on
Yeah.
purpose.
Same here. I also have the same issue, and I do remember dates, at least birthdays, if not, accurately these days. But these are like major milestones in life, and
Yeah,
even if you want to, you cannot forget them because it's just, like you mentioned, photographed in your memory.
yeah. Exactly. There's some memories you would like to forget, but these you don't want to forget.
Yes, that's right.
So,
So your kid is healthy,
oh yeah, and even though BA is not genetic, you
right?
can't, I was still worried.
Yes.
What happens, anything could have happened, but I was monitored very closely with a high risk OB doctor here in Northern Virginia.
Mhm.
And it's funny, she was a month early to today. She was due November 2nd, 2006, and she came October 2nd, 2006.
Right.
And I had her at Fairfax Hospital. I know Fairfax, and they at the time I didn't notice they had never had a patient, an liver transplant patient, having a baby. And I'm like, why didn't y'all tell me this before? But there is one complication that liver transplants just need to watch out if you get pregnant is your platelets. They fortunately they did a blood test on me.
Mhm.
I had no platelets, no clotting factor whatsoever, and my doctor was horrified.
Mhm.
And so I was had a planned C-section anyway, and so I had 6 units of platelets before I went to the OR, and I had two more in the OR and two more when I got in recovery.
Mhm.
And I can only want to imagine what had happened had they not run that test. But yeah, she was fine. She was a month early. She
Mhm.
did have some jaundice, but not jaundice like I have in the face. She had normal baby jaundice.
Yeah, baby jaundice is very common.
Yeah. She had low body. She was 4 pounds, 14 ounces, and she also couldn't control temperature, and she didn't have the suckle reflex. So she stayed in NICU for 11 days.
Hmm.
But after that, she still doesn't like to eat much, but
Hmm.
she's healthy now. She's 18 years old. She'll be a senior in high school and does normal things to 18-year-old. I keep telling her, when I was 18, I did not do any of these things that you are doing. I was recovering from my transplant. And so, she's just a normal teenager.
Right, right. I mean, it's
So we're,
yeah, it's such a great it's I think it's a personal triumph, in one side, but on the highest level, I think it's a triumph for the entire humanity because it's not one miracle, it's like two miracles you saw in your life. And
Yeah,
a life of challenge, it may seem, but look at the glorious victories twice, which is beyond any ordinary comprehension.
exactly. It is a miracle. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, and twice, because it's on the next level, and again, we appreciate the donors, and really cherish their contribution, but but we really forget that it's the recipient who has to face the challenges, in terms of acceptance, in terms of ensuring that the rejection doesn't happen, and then this entire protocol after the transplant, like you mentioned,
yeah.
you know and then safety, and then what a beautiful gift of life in form of your daughter.
Oh
uh,
yeah.
yeah. So this is a story of resilience, more than any battlefield, more than any sports, more than any movie. This is, I think, the highest level where perseverance and compassion on a humane level can go.
Yeah, it is. And as you said about the aftercare, well, before, like I said, my first trial was at 15. I remember all the tests. You had psychological, I mean, and so many medical tests, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
And not only does the patient have to go to psychological, but the family does too.
Oh.
And so I had to go through all that twice because um, once at MCV and then one another time at UVA.
Mhm.
And my pulmonary function had really declined. I loved playing the clarinet when I was younger, but I
Mhm.
had to stop because I didn't have the pulmonary function to
Mhm.
play the clarinet, and I was so disappointed.
Mhm.
But after and then trying to think after my mom and dad told me when they saw me in recovery, it was like night and day.
Mhm.
They never knew my true eye color until after my transplant, and because my eyes were jaundiced, my whole body was jaundiced, so
Oh.
they never knew my true eye color.
Oh my
And
God.
they said once they saw me, they realized my eyes were hazel.
Yes.
Just so I mean, it was immediate. It was like that quick.
Oh wow.
And I was only in the hospital for 3 weeks.
Okay.
Some patients were, they told us, "Oh, you're going to be here for months." And my parents had made, plans to like stay in a Ronald McDonald House. And no, 3 weeks after my transplant, I was discharged
Right. Right.
and sent home. And at the time, my family was living in Annapolis, Maryland, and that's, I believe, 3 hours away.
Mhm.
So a lot of the aftercare was done at the hospital in Annapolis, and but I still have to go up there like once a month.
Mhm.
For the first year, you had to go up there once a month, and that, it was nice. It was, but and then people ask me about, well, how do you accept that somebody else's liver isn't in you? I'm like, I look at it this way: the family of the person was generous enough to give me a second chance. I don't want to screw it up,
That's right. That's right.
you know.
Yep. Yep.
As long as I'm here, that other person is living on.
Yes. That's
So it did. It was funny when my daughter turned 12. I'm like, wow. And it just hit me. She's the same age as the little girl who died in a car accident.
yes. Yes.
You don't know what life is going to bring you.
Yes. That's right. That's right.
So,
Yeah, that's the reason I mentioned that, uh, uh, the recipients are usually not highlighted or celebrated that much, but really valuing the gift. Receiving the gift is one thing, and then valuing the gift and taking care of it. And of
yeah,
course, you are a very strong-willed person, because you have been fighting these battles without any preparation, not once but twice, and you emerged victorious, and which is amazing. So, what do you do? Or you stay at home, or you practice any profession, or
Uh, that's actually funny. I was going to school in 1991, 92, and then because of the cancer, I had to drop out. And after that, I went to a community college up in Anne Arundel Community College, and then I got married in 1994.
Mhm.
So, and he was a my husband is an Air Force veteran, so we were in the military for a while, traveling across country. And
That's great.
so I worked different retail jobs. I worked at Home Depot, I worked at Walmart, I worked, um, and I'm still trying to finish my degree right now.
Great. Wow.
So
Wow. Amazing.
I think I'll be at junior status soon. So,
Great.
but
Great.
I'm always wanting to, like work with donors and other recipients, and so maybe something in that area because I'm getting my degree in just sociology. So
Okay, that's great. Maybe you can become our spokesperson.
yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, the aftercare is interesting because my parents got me vaccinated from the childhood diseases that measles, mumps, rubella, all that stuff. There was one caveat: I was not vaccinated for the chicken pox, and I never had it. Never had chicken pox. And at the time, after it wasn't until after my transplant, they're like, "Oh, well, she had the chicken pox vaccine." I'm like, no. And yeah, I swear to God, my mom said my surgeon almost passed out when he heard that. He's like, "Why didn't you tell us? We would have given it to her before the transplant.
Oh,
Now she can never get it."
wow.
Yeah, and anytime I was exposed to anyone, knowingly
Right.
exposed to anyone with chicken pox, I had to get these um gamma globulin
Oh,
shots,
okay.
four in each hip, and they're not tiny needles.
Right.
So it was, finally, and when my daughter had to get her shot, her MMR and her chickenpox shot, she had to go stay with my mom for 2 weeks because
Oh,
I could not be exposed to
right.
the chickenpox or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's funny, now that I'm 53, I asked my doctor, I'm like, well, can I get the shingles? And they had to talk to the immune doctors. Like, yeah, go ahead and get the shingles shot, you're fine.
Okay.
And with the measles outbreak, it really upsets me that parents are not getting their kids vaccinated.
That's
There's
right.
no reason. It doesn't cause vaccines don't cause autism. I
Yes.
mean, I've gotten all the COVID shots.
Mm.
I got the measles shot. I'm fine. I didn't, there's no adverse effect. And from it scares the heck out of me, even though I got my vaccine, I got a booster shot of the of the measles recently.
Mhm.
I can still get it.
Mhm.
And like with COVID, I was terrified. I was working, I quit working. Because if I actually did get COVID once, and if I hadn't, it was after the vaccines came out.
Mhm.
If I had not gotten a vaccine, I probably would be dead. And it scares me that we have this anti-vaccine stuff going on. It really scares me.
Right. I mean, I was vaccinated for measles, but I still got it twice.
Yeah,
When I was small, once I was when 25. So, but again, the precaution is necessary, irrespective of what, because you never know how, you may, face the deep end. So you got to be prepared.
yeah, exactly. And
And congratulations, you've been into retail, which itself is a tough job, physically laborious. You have to, stand most part of your day. Uh,
yeah,
but
I mean, I do enjoy working,
yes, of course.
and it's a way of getting out, mixing with your people in your same age, and also a money factor. So I do miss it right now, and I've actually been trying to find a job, and it is weird.
Mhm.
I can't find a job for me or for my daughter. She wants to work this summer. There's nothing out there.
Okay.
Of course, I'm not surprised with the
Hmm.
121,000 federal employees that were just fired. So,
Right, right.
and my husband is a Fed,
Is a fact.
and every day he goes to work, he's terrified. Am I going to lose my job today?
He's in Air Force. He's gonna be fine.
Well, he's not in the Air Force anymore. He got out in
Okay.
'97,
Okay.
but he has been in the federal employment for 18 years, I think.
So he's
He
he.
only has 2.5 more years to go before he can retire. So,
No, he's gonna be fine because he's a veteran himself. So, but yeah, I wish you that you get the your dream job and you complete your studies because you're an extraordinary person, not only in terms of fighting the odds, but also very smart as well. And any organization can benefit from your perseverance and the fighting spirit, and of course your knowledge, because right now you have probably more knowledge than an average doctor, more information about various procedures and protocols and safety precautions and things like that, and administration.
yeah, I told my husband, I said, I'm more qualified in RFK. Here, we have this person who's not even know nothing about the medical profession,
Okay,
and
yeah.
that scares me too. I mean,
Yes.
why would I mean I don't know. This whole administration is scary health wise, and
Right.
but it won't last forever.
Of course. I mean, there are again, it's like a collective choice and a collective decision and collective wisdom. So, we can't, we have to respect, and that's revolution, you give the other side a chance, and let's see how things may prevail, and it's because you mentioned about your daughter was 12 years old, and you know and you're good with numbers in terms of remembering the dates and everything, so it was a coincidence, and but again, once again, you passed all the tests in flying colors, and so any message, because I said that now you mentioned that the liver transplant is, you can give a piece of your part of your liver as well, and like you mentioned, that the kissing virus, and sometimes the kidney and liver recipients and don't recipients mostly can face a stigma, in terms
Yeah,
of, yeah, but like you mentioned, in most cases probably it's disease related, and but many people who are not aware enough, they think it has related, it's could be related to drinking or anything, you know
yeah,
fast lifestyle, but that's not the case, and even if that's the case, there is second chance, like like you mentioned,
yeah,
if they can avail, then instead of wasting an organ, it's always good to help another human being, and because life is strange, and there is full of twists and turns, and same is about consciousness and redemption, I think.
yeah, definitely.
So tell me if you have any, give me a wrap up if you have any message for, recipients and donors, because you have had your wonderful life and wonderful journey and more beautiful life in the years ahead after completing your sociology degree, and yeah, the plans to help and educate and inform more people about it.
Recipients, I would just tell to talk to your doctors and you know make sure you have all your vaccines needed before the surgery, because transplant recipients can't get live vaccines. As I said, my husband was in the Air Force, and during 1995, 96, he could have been um, deployed to Bosnia,
Mhm.
and they were giving the what is it now? Start oh gosh, I can't remember that vaccine. And that a white powder, can't remember. Gosh,
Mhm.
what is the name of that? Um, but he could not get it before he was deployed, and so he had to get a special waiver. Um, Anthrax,
Mhm.
the
Anthrax.
anthrax, yes, because I was a transfer recipient, he could not get it before he was deployed, and so he had to fight them, and he got a waiver. And they said, "Fine, if you're deployed, we'll give you the anthrax vaccine while you're on the plane." He said, "Fine, that works for me because I won't be anywhere near my wife." He
Yes.
won't,
Yes.
So just make sure they have all their vaccines, and any questions, and listen to your doctor. Have any questions, even if you think it's a small one or if it's a stupid one,
Mhm.
ask the transplant coordinator
Mhm.
or the doctor. They're your best friends.
Mhm. Yes, that's right.
My transplant coordinator was absolutely amazing, and my surgeon was amazing. And I actually still talk to my surgeon and my transplant coordinator today, to this day. I still talk to them.
Right.
So, just if you have any nervous, about should I do this,
Mhm.
talk to them.
Okay.
Just be open and honest, and um, because I know that there was a case of a little girl who needs a new liver or kidney in Ohio. I don't know which. I can't remember. The parents want her to have the surgery, but they don't want her to get the flu shot and the COVID shot. I'm
Oh,
like, what? You believe in transplants, but you don't believe in vaccines? That doesn't make any sense.
that's right. That's true.
I feel bad for the girl because it's the parents. It's not the little girl. She's like 8 or 9,
So,
and but they got to stick to their guns. If any transplant recipient is going to go through it, they have to get all their vaccines, no matter how they feel about them.
that's right.
So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
as I said, I've never had any adverse effects. The only effect I've ever had, maybe it makes me sleepy.
Okay.
That's about it. As for donors, um, again, just talk to your doctor, and if you're donating to a loved one, just make sure that they're going to follow through with the program, because it's not something you go into lightly,
Mhm.
either the recipient or the donor.
Mhm. That's right.
Just try to have the psychological testing done.
Right. Right.
And if somebody is getting a new liver because they drank or whatever,
Mhm.
they have rules and regulations,
Okay.
and if they don't follow those,
That's right.
they're not going to get a third chance.
That's right. That's right.
So you just need to make sure that the person, if you know them, is going to follow the program. Listen to the doctors.
That's right.
Don't listen to RFK. He
So,
knows nothing.
Jennifer, thank you so much for coming on. You are my personal hero, and your congratulations. And
Thank you.
your story is a story of not once, but victorious twice. It's bigger than any Super Bowl, bigger than any World Cup. So, thank you so much for joining our podcast. And yeah, we'll stay in touch, and hopefully, you become our spokesperson.
Definitely, absolutely. If you need anything, just oh, I did. My mom and I did write a book.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
I'll send you if you send me the
You can send
physical
me.
address,
Yeah.
I can send you a copy.
Oh, that's great. I will do that. I will provide you in the chat.
Okay, awesome.
Right.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice
Thank you.
talking
Have a nice evening.
to you. Bye bye.